This is the Mixtape Podcast. I am your host, Mark. If you enjoy this week's episode, please feel free to rate it 5 stars wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can find over 140 archive episodes just by visiting the mixtapepodcast.com. And there you will also find the link to my Mixcloud. On the Mixcloud channel, you can also hear the music that my guests pick for their mixtape. Also on the website are my social media links and YouTube channel. You can find all of that good stuff at the mixtapepodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Let's Lovers Get High. That's from the brand new album from Bully Hay called Anywhere But Here, and I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Bully now. How are you, mate?
Good, Mark. How are you, man?
Great to be chatting to you again. It's been probably a year or two since Black Dogs and Songbirds when we spoke about your mixtape A-Side. What have you been up to since then, mate?
Well, geez, like that album took me around the country a couple of times on tour, a couple of national tours, and writing and recording in between times. And so about a year-long process, and then here we go again. So we just write another one, and out it comes. So
Yep. So the video for Lovers Get High, without giving too much away, I certainly enjoyed watching it, and I'm sure other people will too. And was that a fun shoot? I imagine it was.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah. Look, there's a funny story to that. It was I was at a music festival, I think in the must have been the beginning of 2025, and there was a burlesque show. And I went to watch that with a couple of mates of mine, and I remember just being like completely in awe of, the burlesque team that were there. Her name, the lady that runs that's called BB Sparkle, and her Diamonds, and just what they were doing was just. I was like, man, like the athleticism and everything. I thought that'd be really cool to have to a film clip, and I had this song in my mind. Sorry, Lovers Get High. And, nearly a year later, I called her up and said, it'd be great to collab and do something here. We've got this song about, push and pull of desire, and, it's like late night thoughts and that kind of stuff. And it'd be great to have their routine kind of like flashing in and out of, memories and things like that. And she was like, yeah, absolutely, we'll get that done. And she rocked up with her team, and just 4 or 5 hours on the apparatus and stuff. Their arms were killing them, and absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like that. What gives that film clip a good kind of feeling of like grittiness and edginess that I wanted it to have.
So the new album seems to be going down pretty well. Anywhere But Here, number 1 on the independent album charts and top 10 ARIA album charts. Must be a good feeling, mate.
Yeah, man. Yep. I did not expect that to happen. But I couldn't be more thankful. You pump your heart and soul into your art and your work. And, for me, working on it for a year, I think I'll kind of get it finished and I'm like, right, well, that's done. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of my own songs. And it's hard to feel excited once you kind of put that down. And then suddenly it's on the ARIA charts and the air charts. And you're like, oh, shit. People actually like this.
Yeah.
The excitement comes back and you go, oh, awesome. That's good. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, fantastic, mate. And you got some physical formats out as well, vinyl again. I know you put the last album out on vinyl, Bill. I think it's like is it like a dark red sort of splatter vinyl I saw on your website for this one?
Yeah. It's it's called a regrind. So it's like when they make vinyl, it's like the material goes in. It's like a squish, like a pancake kind of thing, and they slice the ends off. And this is like the offcuts, like the bits that you throw away. Yeah. So, and they recycle those and create a reddish kind of color. So every vinyl will be different to the next. They're not all the same.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah. CDs as well on there. Just shout out your website address and your socials, mate, so people know where they can find you.
Yeah. So CDs and vinyl all available at bullyhay.com. Nice and easy.
Excellent, easy, and all your social links are on there as well. I saw. I'm talking about vinyl, mate. I know last time we spoke, you're a fan of the vinyl format, and Record Store Day coming up in a few weeks. I'm not sure if you're aware or you participate in that at all.
No, I've never heard of it. Sorry, I live under a rock most of the time, so
Oh, right, okay.
forgive my ignorance. So can you tell me, what is this?
So Record Store Day started, and this, for disclaimer, this is my personal opinion on Record Store Day. This isn't the opinion of Radio Fremantle, or but I know it's quite a sort of wide held opinion. So Record Store Day started, it would have been 20 years ago maybe, and it was a campaign to save and promote your local independent record store, right? So it would be, there would be exclusive Record Store Day releases that had the Record Store Day like foil stamp on the cover, and it would be stuff that you wouldn't get, exclusive stuff. People would record stuff especially for Record Store Day and put it out
Mm.
only on vinyl for Record Store Day. Fantastic initiative, but in my opinion, over the years, it's like everything else, and with the resurgence of vinyl as well as a format, it's been taken over by record companies, and you're getting like, stuff that was never released because it wasn't good enough musically. Do you know what I mean? Like at the core of everything, it's got to be good music, right? That's what, to sell, and that's what it's all about. And you got, unreleased studio outtakes sometimes, and and it's I don't think personally the quality of the releases are good. And there's like you say, rehashing of old stuff, and they've just stuck the Record Store Day stamp on it, and you get people going like, queuing up at like 4 a.m. to be first in the shop to buy 5 copies to flip 4 of them for 5 times the price on eBay. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like,
Yeah,
it's really lost the original sort of concept and idea of what is, in my opinion. I did
taking the
an
heart and
interview.
soul out of it.
Yeah, yeah. I did an interview with Amos and Eleni, who run Midland Records, which is my local record store, last year for Record Store Day. And I proposed the following solution to that flipping problem, where you get loyalty points when you go to that store, right? So if you every $100 you spend at Midland Records, you get points, right? And then when Record Store Day comes, your priority in line is based on how many points you got throughout the previous year, right? So you
Yep.
can't just turn up on Record Store Day, not be a vinyl collector, and not ever go to that store and then rinse them for 4 copies of, whatever. Yeah, that's my two
You
penneth
have to
on Record
earn your
Store Day
position.
anyway.
You're earning
Yeah,
your position in the
yeah,
queue.
exactly right. Yeah, yeah, exactly right. I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's a winner, but whatever. Who am I? I never ever get involved in Record Store Day. I just think it's a bit of a rule. But this year, two of my favourite artists of all time have put out vinyl that I'm really, really interested in. So that's a
Who's
little
that?
bit annoying. So there's a UK spoken word artist called K Tempest who's put out an all acoustic version of their last album,
Cool.
which is going to be phenomenal. And Scott Matthews, who I think you would probably like, he's a UK sort of singer songwriter from sort of early mid 2000s was his peak, and his debut album Passing Stranger, which is an absolute classic in my house, never had a vinyl release, and he's put it out on vinyl for Record Store Day. So I'm super
Exciting.
keen. I'm super keen on those. Yeah, I'll send you a link to Scott Matthews 'cause I think you'll like him. Yeah, he's sort of a bit of a sort of a Jeff Buckley-esque vocalist, sort of singer-songwriter, but amazing. Yeah, and his album Passing Strangers is brilliant. It's got sort of like Indian tabla influences, and yeah, it's an amazing record. Yeah, and he's put that out finally on vinyl for Record Store, but he's put it out for Record Store Days. Upcoming shows, mate. What shows you got coming up? And you want to shout out?
Yeah, sure. So we've just started. We've kind of let this album come out and we let it sit. What you're supposed to do is book your whole tour in advance.
Yeah.
So we kind of let everything settle, and now we're booking the shows. So we're starting with Tasmania, obviously hometown. So we've
Mhm.
got 4 or 5 shows coming up. So we're doing the northwest coast. So we've got Table Cape and Ulverston, Launceston in the north, and then Longlean near Hobart in the south. So we've done those. We've just booked in for the Festival of Voices as well in Hobart at the Peacock Theatre in July. So that's pretty much our Tassie stuff almost wrapped up. And following on from that, we'll have some shows announced in the Sunshine Coast soon. And I imagine we'll be working our way down south and hopefully over to Freo at some point this year as
Fantastic,
well.
mate. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
We haven't played over there yet, so it'll either be it'll be the whole band, which is a big kind of 5-piece rock show, or it'll be a stripped back variant of it, a solo acoustic or duo. We kind of change all the songs up, and they were all written on acoustic guitar, so they translate well to an intimate audience as well. So that'll be this year as well.
That'll be great, mate. Be looking forward to seeing you. That'll be a great one for sure.
You're listening to The Mixtape.
The Mixtape is brought to you in association with Giglist. Giglist is your one-stop shop for all your live events. If you're looking to get out and experience some live music, you can filter by artist, venue, suburb or date. If you are an artist, it will take you less than a minute to list your gig for free on the website. The Mixtape brought to you in association with Giglist. Gigs in a list. All right, mate, let's do some mixtape track choices in. So as I mentioned at the top of the show, you done the A-side with me a year or two ago when your first album came out. You're back for the second round, B-side mixtape track choices. And first one on that one is, what was the first song you ever learned to play or sing?
So I didn't learn how to play guitar till I was 14. And the first song that I learned how to play and sing was Nothing Man by Pearl Jam. So I could kind of just hunch over my guitar and just slowly get the chords right.
And how long did it take you to learn that?
Well, it took me longer to learn like the chords. My dad showed me how to play like an E minor and an A and a D and a G and like kind of all those forms. And so that took me longer, but once I realized that you could string those chords together to make a song, that was easy. Like once I figured, that song's like 2 or 3 of these chords that Dad showed me, that was fine.
Right. Excellent. And second one on the B-side is, what's your go-to road trip song, mate? If you're on a road trip, what do you want to break out?
Oh, that's gonna have to be Dreams, Fleetwood Mac. Every time the the car pulls out the driveway and the sun's shining, and that song always comes on. I don't know, it's always the 70s.
It's got a great sort of driving rhythm that for, musically driving rhythm for driving. That's a great one. Funny story. I'll tell you this funny story quickly about Fleetwood Mac. It's made me laugh so much. It's happened like only a couple of days ago. So for some reason, I don't know, it's because they're a popular band. In Perth, there's about 8 Fleetwood Mac tribute bands, right? And one of them has got into a bit of a Facebook spat with another over using the Dove logo, right? As for their yeah. So the first, I'm not going to call them the original, but the first band are accusing the other band of and they're like, and they put this big Facebook and say originality is like so important to us, blah blah blah, and you're a tribute.
The irony.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. The original. Don't you plagiarize or use our material.
And it's not even your trademark logo. It's Fleetwood Mac. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Honestly, I had such a laugh at that this week. Anyway, yeah. All right. Okay. What is your favourite duet or collaboration, mate?
Favorite duet or collaboration? Jeez. I did once see my absolute favorite duet and collaboration was Jeff Martin and Tina Arena doing Don't Give Up by Peter. Is it Peter Gabriel's Don't Give Up? That's like hairs will kind of come up on your arms with that. That's the best that I've ever seen.
Next one is a track from a live album, mate. What's your favourite track from a live album?
I did hear a really good one the other day. It was The National. All the Wine, it's called. The National has a song. Can't remember the album that's off. But the live album, can't even remember the name of the live
Is it in Rome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, I love that song. It was written for me, that song. But
yeah. I'm a massive National fan. I'm trying not to tell the story about. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but they came to Perth. I had tickets, and then circumstances overtook me, and I wasn't able to go. And I was very sad about it to the point where I couldn't listen to them for about 6 months. They're like my favourite band at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, I was really
I love
really
like
upset.
a number of the national songs that I really, really love, but I have to be in the right headspace because they're so crushing. Like it's a hard listen sometimes because they cut.
Sometimes they are. Yeah, yeah,
They-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
fantastic.
Yeah. He's coming to Australia again, Matt Berninger, but he's skipping Perth annoyingly. But he's doing a solo tour for his last solo album, yeah, and he's not coming to Perth, but yeah, whatever. I'll get there one day. I'll get there one day. All right. Hype up song, workout, or Monday morning get yourself going song, mate. What are you gonna go for there?
9 Inch Nails. I would say Discipline. There's a song called
Yeah.
Discipline. 9 Inch Nails. The drum beat and everything. Yeah, the tempo, the gritty sound of it all just gets my
Yeah.
blood pumping.
And finally, this one goes a bit deep. The final track of the B-side mixtape tracks is If Bully Hay were a song, what song would you be?
Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus.
That's a great one. Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah, that's a good tune as well. I really like that. It's like one of them pop
Yeah.
songs that's like, I think it's a really well written song. I really
Yeah.
like Miley Cyrus. I think cracking voice, amazing voice. Yeah, so good. And I think she's got a decent band around there. And you never would have thought it when you look at Hannah Montana and Disney and that, and look at her now. Like, yeah, I think she's incredible. I think she's done so well. And I think it's always hard when you're a child star like that. Do you know what I mean? And you're that famous, that young. Like, it must be so difficult. So yeah,
Sort of break out of her skin and reinvent herself. She's a rock star. She's
yeah,
just she's unreal.
100% fantastic. All right, mate. We'll round it out with quick fire 5. What was the first concert you ever went to?
Silverchair Freak Show tour.
Great one. Whereabouts was that?
And that was just south of Hobart, and they were supported by Grinspoon, who had just broken on, what was it called? Triple J was like Unearthed back in the day,
Mm.
homegrown or something like that. And Magic Dirt was awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah. How old were you then, mate? Can you remember?
13.
Good
My
age for your
parents
first
let
gig.
me go on my own. They let me go with my friend unsupervised. I lost my friend in the crowd the first 30 minutes, didn't see him again for 4 hours.
That's the way to do it, mate. That's the way to do it. And what was the first album you ever bought?
No Doubt, Tragic Kingdom.
That's a good one, that. Excellent, excellent choice. I'm gonna shamefully admit now, I thought at the time that was their debut. I had no idea, like, they were like this ska punk sort of thing, like, before I think 2 albums, I think, before that. But yeah, that's a classic album. That's 97, that, if I remember. That coming out. 'Cause it's a bit tragic, but I always remember that as, tragic. See what I did there. I always remember that, I always link that to Princess Diana dying, 'cause "Don't
Ah,
Speak" was, like, all over the radio.
yeah,
You couldn't get away from it. Yeah, there was just, like, a sort of playlist of about 10 songs that radio stations, like, felt like they could
yeah,
play without any sort of and that
that's
was one of
right.
them, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah,
I think that Don't Speak song, I reckon everybody in the world links that song to some kind of horrendous event.
yeah, for sure. Who would be your dream collaborator, mate, alive or dead?
Mm, Buckley, Jeff Buckley.
Why not? Why not? Yeah, that is a great one. You have a pre-show ritual, mate?
Um, well, if you call straight spirits before, usually it's like an easy wind up. I hate waiting around in the green room for too long.
Mm,
So the worst kind of pre-show things are where you've been hanging out for hours and hours, you got nowhere to go.
mm, mm.
That's always going to end with too many drinks and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But pre-show, no, mate, it's I don't even smoke, but I'll have a smoke
Yeah, fair enough.
and a shot of vodka or tequila and
Yeah.
slap myself in the face, slap the other boys in the face, and then get on.
Shots is a very common answer to that question. That's, yeah, more than 50% of the people will answer that way, yeah. Finally, in the quickfire 5, if you could time travel to see one concert in history, which concert would you see?
Oh, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Credence Clearwater Revival at Albert Hall.
Great choice, mate. What's your favourite Creedence track?
Oh, why's my mind gone blank? I ain't no prisoner's son. What's
Fortunate Son.
Fortunate Son.
Yeah.
Yep, hands
Great
down.
one. All right, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you once again. The new album, Anywhere But Here, the top 10 ARIA album, Anywhere But Here, is out now. You can grab that through bullyhay.com, and it's out on all the digital streaming platforms as well. Mate, I'll just get you to introduce one more track from the album, if you like. Your choice, whatever you want. Go for it.
Cool. Let's go with Another Lost Soldier. So Another Lost Soldier is for anyone that ever feels like they've been hanging out in the trenches, fighting as hard as they could, and nobody noticed.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's mixtape. If you would like to get more from the mixtape, you can catch up with over 150 archive episodes by visiting themixtapepodcast.com. Also there you'll find links to the YouTube channel, my social media pages, and my Patreon if you would like to get even more content that doesn't go out on the radio show or the podcast. You can secure your mixtape backstage pass. All of those links are available at themixtapepodcast.com. You've been listening to The Mixtape, and I've been your host, Mark. Until next time.